A surveillance camera.
Hello everyone. Hello Sickle channel member. Technically you got a shout out in the new video if you noticed. What's up Shadow? Thank you. As always, like the stream. It allows other people to get notified that I am live. What is up, Russell? How are we all doing tonight? This latest upload technically is years in the making because, you know, Legend of Zelda's in there, but definitely Metal Gear Solid, the Arkham games, those are my favorite game series, so I've always wondered, I've always imagined, I think you can look at my videos I've made up to this point. You could say, yep, Batman Mythos, Metal Gear Solid, so finally crossed those over in a nice fun way. It was very rewarding. The editing, the writing, research. I played through the whole game with the mod. I played through the whole game with the Solid Snake skin mod. Turning the HUD off so it was more cinematic, and I recorded the whole thing to get footage for it, and that was fun. But it's going well over here. Now that I have finished this upload, put it out there, I now feel at liberty to stream again. And my next script, I already have like half an hour. I really overdid it, but that's just how it is. Funny you say that, Shadow. Funny you say that. I will be making a video soon covering Tom Holland's powers. Whatever he does in this new movie will be addressed in my next upload. But the movie's not out yet. I have been keeping my ear to the ground as far as leaks and spoilers, especially regarding Brand New Day and the upcoming Avengers movies. I feel like I'm pretty plugged in as far as that's concerned. Hey, thank you, Pliskin. Thank you so much. I'm very happy with the reception. So I think this could go up there with the snake in Raccoon City. I think people are interested. I think it's nice to see that that subject, and I hope I can branch out to other characters as well. I hope I can, but to be honest, I feel like the thing that takes it to the next level is the mods, to be honest. I always shout out the mod creator because I think, I don't know if I'd want to do another, like, could X character survive this event, this video game, whatever, storyline. Unless I had a mod for it. Because I think that really takes it to the next level, and I can be very creative with the editing. But so far, so good. I have the capability. I could either do Snake in Resident Evil 4. I could do that, or I could do Snake in Arkham Knight. But like I said, I'd like to do other characters and other events. Maybe something to do with Resident Evil 3 I'm thinking of, but that'll probably be next year before we see if something like that is viable. CQC damaging more with each attack in consecutive form is so strange but cool. That's Metal Gear Solid for you. Strange but cool. With that said, everybody give the stream a like. It spreads the word. It lets other people get notified that I am live. Also, feel free to donate. Any power scaling question. How would this character do in this scenario? How strong is this character? Maybe just my personal thoughts. Maybe you just want to, you know, share some appreciation, right? The more you donate, the more in-depth answer, the more in-depth of a response you will get. But any amount is appreciated. And you can also become a channel member to get access to the private Discord server. I posted a lot of the edits in the latest video early, like as soon as I finished them, I put them in the Discord, and my channel members got to check them out. So they knew what I was cooking, they knew what I was up to. So if you join the Discord, the link is in the description, you become a channel member, you check out my YouTube posts, you get a channel member exclusive link to the Discord. It's worth it. What's up, Vaughn? Funny to know the boss simply got the idea for CQC from Snatch missions, so she went just overkill with it. It's true. She made a whole new martial art style of combat. Who do you say is more agile, Nightwing or Snake? Definitely Nightwing. You know, let's not conflate Arkham with the comics. Okay, there's a big chasm between the two. Comic Nightwing is the best acrobat in a universe full of people with superpowers, okay? So, you could have super speed, you could be able to stretch and bounce around, you could turn into any animal, it doesn't matter. Dick Grayson is the best acrobat. He's the most agile guy. So, but Snake's agility, I think, is probably one of his more underappreciated talents. People kind of only relegate it to Twin Snakes, I guess. They don't really think about what he could achieve, especially if it wasn't, like, imperative for him to keep his head down a lot of the time. Shadow, that's the perfect question. If you want to know the answer, you could donate as little as $1. You will get an answer, but the more you donate, the more of an in-depth answer you will get. Or you become a channel member, and I address whatever comment you got, because you're supporting the channel. It is my job. This is how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, Nightwing is on a different level. Arkham Nightwing, though, we don't really get a whole lot of that agility being presented. He still just kind of grapples around. Although he doesn't glide, and he's still able to, you know, essentially clear the same distances, get around just as well as Arkham Batman without a glider, as far as we know. Yeah. Snake he has combined the talents of a soldier and an agent. That was what he was built to do. And then some. But we got plenty of topics to cover. There's the new video if anybody wants any questions about that. There's, of course, all my other videos if you guys want to know. And then we do have some big things coming up. I think now it's like 2 weeks until we get new Spider-Man movie. And allegedly, towards the end of this month, I think before Spider-Man comes out actually on the 25th, we're getting the first Avengers Doomsday full trailer. That is the word on the street. So we can cover all that stuff as well if you guys are up for that. Yeah, exactly. What's up, G4? What's up, General Shepard? What's up, Nimbus? Hello, hello, everybody. Nice to see you here. You guys know how it goes. You're channel members. I don't have to do the whole spiel with you. I'll probably do more. Oh, Ziggy Bear. Thank you so much for the 50. Thank you so much for the 50. I appreciate the PFP. I see the Batman PFP. I hope you appreciated the latest video. There's plenty of Batman in it. Honestly, it was a good excuse too, because I reorganized and looked over a lot of my Arkham scans that I'd been collecting. I got some new ones as well. I combed through the strategy guides and things like that. So that new video, it doubles insofar as the premise, obviously, but another facet is kind of an update of that Arkham Asylum, Arkham City era. How does that scaling go? Talk about Arkham Knight as well a little bit with the, you know, his suit improving his speed and all that, and Catwoman, stuff like that. So I hope you appreciated it. Thank you so much, Ziggy Bear, for the 50. That's a big one to start with. I'd love to see it. But I think when Wolverine comes out, you'll see a new set of Insomniac videos. When Wolverine drops. And I guess I'm going to have to get that game. Is that game going to come out on disc? I might have to try to get the disc for that. That might be the last Sony first-party game I get on disc. But thank you so much. Once again. But yeah. Insomniac, Wolverine, we'll get Arkham, we'll get Insomniac. We'll dig all that back up. Strike while the iron is hot. That's sort of the mode here lately. Which is why we're going to be getting a brand new day video within its release window pretty soon. I feel like, though, it's going to be tough for me to top the vibes of the latest one, to be honest. I use very atmospheric music tracks, official tracks from both series. It was done in a very cinematic way, but I think that's, without the mod, you know, I couldn't have done that. The modding the character in is just next level. Next level. But thankfully for a lot of the big games, I mean, they kind of just do that. I think it's funny that Arkham City, Arkham Knight, and I found out the Spider-Man Insomniac game on PC, they all have Solid Snake specific. Well, Arkham City and Spider-Man PS4 have PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 1 Snake model. And I promise you guys, I would use higher polygon models for Snake if those mods existed. Okay, I would do that. I think it is kind of charming though, because Snake in the PS1 game, his mouth doesn't move, you know, but you still believe it. You believe when he talks, because that just is the mode that you're operating on. But yeah, Snake Arkham Batman video felt like a trailer for something at certain points. Yeah, I had to do it to him. My start with editing, honestly, like the first thing that made me want to learn how to edit and all that was watching like trailers. A good trailer, whether it be official or fan made, that's like the best thing ever. How many movies have better trailers than the movies, you know? So that's what got me in on that, and I had to do it to him. I love making that stuff, so I put that in the new video. MGS1 model Snake is kind of cool. It's super cool. No, it's a great character. Great character design. But I would use, you know, if there was like an MGS, even PS2 MGS2 Snake model, if there was a you know, even the Fortnite model, I would use that. Snake versus Deathstroke. Slickman or anyone, Slickmin, if you want to donate, The more you donate, the more in-depth answer you will get. And if somebody wants to donate on behalf of that question to sort of sponsor it, feel free. For Snake versus Deathstroke. Specify the version, though. I'm assuming you mean Arkham, because that's what we're doing here. You think Brand New Day will upscale Spidey? I kind of want to dono for that as well, because I have been kind of in the weeds about that. You guys would be getting exclusive information. This information is not out there. It's not widely available. The stuff that I know, the stuff that I have found. So I would appreciate a dono for that. Again, any amount is appreciated. Modding has gotten pretty advanced. Yeah. So far, I can't think of a game that I would want to put Snake in for the sake of a video that a mod doesn't exist. But eventually I might learn how to do it for a particular game. With Unreal, it shouldn't be that hard. Everything kind of running on Unreal these days. Even Arkham City runs on Unreal. Specifically Arkham Origins, yeah. Yeah, Pliskin's in the Discord, so he knows the leaked info. He knows that I'm all about that. But yeah, either Vaughn, either Slickman, if someone wants to donate on their behalf, or if they want to dono, then you guys will get the most informed version of an answer to those questions. BO2? Yeah, I bet. I absolutely bet. I can't even imagine. Sickle says membership worth it. Lots of info is discussed in the peak that is the Discord server. It's true. The Discord server, I'm proud of the shape that it's taken. So it's definitely worth it. What's up, Timmy? What's up, bro? If somebody wants to dono on behalf of Shadow, feel free. But yeah. I'll say it for Brand New Day. I'll wait to talk about power scaling if somebody wants to dono. Arkham Origins versus Solid Snake MGS4. I mean, Pliskin for a channel member, I'll say it would be a stomp. Okay? It would be a stomp. An absolute stomp. Yeah. If Snake can clear Arkham City, it's kind of I still think I could do, because there is like Kill the Justice League to talk about. But putting Snake in the events of the game is kind of the most creative way I could think of to do a versus fight, you know, technically. If Snake just completely clears Arkham City, if he were to fight Arkham City Batman, it would be pretty basic math by then. Appreciate you, Sickle. It's called having a job, Timmy. This is my job. And I'm proud of it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sickle. Thank you so much, Sickle. It's a bit of a tongue twister. For the $4.99 on behalf of Shadow. Let's see, what exactly was he asking again? Did he even have a question? Uh-oh. Was he hoping to donate on behalf of Vaughn or Slickman? Oh, so Sam Raimi Spider-Man versus Solid Snake. Okay, for $5. Sam Raimi Spider-Man versus Solid Snake. To be honest, bro, I'd probably give it to Toby. I'd probably give it to Toby, because at this point, he benefits like crazy from MCU scaling, okay? Very basic chain here, alright? Very basic chain. Okay, is Will Spidey be upscaled? Okay. So if you'd rather me answer that, you gotta pick one, and then if somebody wants the other question answered, they can donate for that. Will he be upscaled? Okay, so there are two things that are important. Two main things, and they feed into each other. There are these mutations that Spider-Man is undergoing, and they are increasing each of his statistics. He's getting stronger. He's getting better spider sense. He's getting faster, etc. So he's got that going for him. However, Tom Holland said this when he was interviewed. He did an event at the Empire State Building or something, and they asked him a bit about the movie. This is also, I think, one of the big outlets, Empire or, whatever. Who cares? They basically posted the first 2 pages of the Brand New Day script. And they all say that this new metamorphosis is making him stronger. That's been said. But also, his health is catastrophic, and living alone is taking a toll on him physically. So there's kind of a buff and nerf going on here. His power is evolving, but it's also stated, this is on the Sony Pictures Japanese press website for the movie, okay? Peter's DNA mutation is life-threatening. His body is in a dangerous state. The truth is that his DNA is mutated, and that is something threatening his life, with Peter's body in a dangerous state. So his body is in a dangerous state while it's mutating and making him stronger. And then the way that some of the leaks at this point, okay, these are leaks, quote unquote, take it with a grain of salt. These could be fake. They could be real, and you could be getting spoiled, okay? So take this for what it is. And it's not even very specifically described. But if you look at the ninja fight, okay, in the trailers, this has been officially released. The fight in the prison with the hand and ninjas. We see when he pulls up to the prison, he has his mask on. And he's fighting the ninjas. Then at some point, his mask is removed. He either takes his mask off, he gets unmasked, whatever. And his face is all bloodied and scuffed up, and then he goes into this mutation mode where his eyes go black, right? And he fights these ninjas. The way that the leak describes the end of that fight is he has to be saved by the Punisher. So either the ninjas scuff him up even as he's mutating, and the mutation is like not that big an amp, or he is amped, he does win, he beats them, but he's like wrecked from it, right? And if you guys know anything about Dragon Ball, I'd say it might be comparable to like the Kaioken, right? The Kaioken from Dragon Ball, it gives you a boost, but it destroys your body. And these effects are going to be compounding as the movie goes on. So now, whether it's this scaling to the Hulk or whatever, there, again, we know a little bit about what's going to happen there. And ultimately, I think some way or another, Marvel isn't too big in the power scaling community, so I don't know how that... Oh, I see. I don't know what you're talking about. But no matter what's going to happen, Spider-Man... This is official, okay? A website, like a nerd culture website outlet, was sent the art book of the movie ahead of time. and they basically describe everything that's in it. They filmed a video of flipping through it, and I was able to save that. I saved that video before they then took it down. So Marvel was like, "Hey, why'd you do that? Take it down." So in that they describe the fight that he has with the Hulk is in the Department of Damage Control headquarters, and in that facility they have confiscated many super weapons from the MCU, and they specifically mention Rocket Raccoon technology. And Rocket Raccoon, if you didn't know, from the first Guardians, could make weapons powerful enough to destroy a moon. Okay, to destroy a moon. And that's on top of the tech that we see in the trailer, which includes shocker gauntlets, which I don't know why those would do anything to the Hulk, to be honest. And then there's a figure that came out. You guys can Google this. There's a figure of Spider-Man that came out, an action figure that has him using anti-gamma webs. Okay. There's also a frame from a magazine of the movie that was released, and it shows Peter and Michelle Jones with Spider-Man. He has a laptop, and on the laptop are the designs to the inhibitor device that Bruce Banner has been using. And then on the cover of another magazine, Spider-Man has these like glowing green web shooters. So I think whether it be shocker gauntlets like we've seen in the trailer, Rocket Raccoon tech, which is basically just confirmed to play a part in that battle, or some sort of anti-gamma web shooters, okay? Those are going to play a role. And then there's also some speculation that Spider-Man might end the movie in a very worse for wear state, okay? And this has been reported. This is just confirmed. This is just a fact that as they've been testing the movie with audience screening testing, right? The ending has been very divisive. And a couple of leakers have said he dies at the end, okay? Who knows if that's true? If it's true, at this moment, they might change it because of the testing. They might reshoot it or edit it in some different way. So, there's that. Okay. He has this unstable mutation that seems to simultaneously be killing him. And when he fights the Hulk, he's going to have all these super weapons to take advantage of, as well as possibly anti-gamma technology. And then there's also, what's pretty evident, is that the Hulk is being mind-controlled. Hulk is being mind-controlled. So, that is also a factor here. Is Hulk as strong as he would be without Banner? Again, this is the MCU, and they really haven't told us anything about Hulk lore or how it works. Why is Rocket involved? Rocket is not in the movie. Rocket Raccoon's weaponry, however, at some point, he left it on Earth or something was destroyed, probably in like the Endgame battle. You know, he fired a gun, it ran out of ammo, he dropped it. The Department of Damage Control confiscated it. Okay, does that make sense? The Department of Damage Control facility wherein Hulk and Spider-Man are fighting, they have access and they have contained weaponry from across the MCU. So, Spider-Man is basically confirmed he will be taking advantage of that. The only thing we've been shown is him using the shocker gauntlet. But, Rocket Raccoon tech will also, that's just in the art book, they just talk about that. The officially released, well, yet to be released, but officially printed and given to certain outlets ahead of time, will be in it. MCU Spider-Man scaling to Hulk tier already happened. That's true, and Hulk in Age of Ultron was already super, he was basically mind-controlled, super crazy. He was bigger than Hulk had been up until that point in the MCU. And in Age of Ultron, they designed him. They described his design as being a Hulk that's hulked out. So, that Hulk fought the Mark I Hulkbuster. The Mark I Hulkbuster clashed, knocked his tooth out, and ultimately defeated him. Defeated that version of Hulk. And then Cull Obsidian can shatter and dent the Hulkbuster Mark II through sheer physicality alone. And yeah, Tom Holland Spider-Man in Infinity War just blocked an attack and momentarily like stunned or KO'd, whatever, Cull Obsidian. So him fighting the Hulk with help, you know, with weaponry, that's really just not out of the question. You know? But Toby could do it too. And better. Toby can do it too. And better. Far better. Okay? Thank you, No Way Home. Thank you, Kevin Feige. Thank you, Amy Pascal, for having Green Goblin laugh off Tom's full power in a upgraded, better than ever Stark supersuit when 3 movies ago he blocked an attack from Cull Obsidian. Thank you. Total raps. Total rappage. So goated. But you guys will hear all about that in my next video. Hulk is implied to be stronger maybe than Professor Hulk, but Hulk was savage in Age of Ultron. That already happened. That already happened. We've already seen a crazy mind-controlled Hulk. And Tom already scales to that. It is shocking, Charlie. It is shocking. That is shocking. What's more shocking is I have to take a bite of this cheeseburger to make my money back, you know. He is not gray. He's not gray. In the art book, they talk about it. They said, you know, because they created designs for Grey Hulk, but they decided not to do it. Also, Grey Hulk like doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. The MCU, there's like if you guys see, let's say Grey Hulk in the comics means a certain thing, that informs a certain dynamic or power level or whatever. In the MCU, it means nothing. We're from scratch. It's a different universe. It means nothing. You can't carry it over. You can't apply it. They're 2 different universes. Don't worry, Shadow. The movie's not out yet, okay? So the movie's not out. It could just be the case. However, there are some pretty crazy Avengers leaks, rumor, speculation, whatever. So it's honestly moot. The dust will not have settled until Secret Wars, okay? That's a fact. Because Toby is coming back. He will be in both of these Avengers movies. And the stakes are higher. I mean, if Toby nudges Doctor Doom like an inch, it's like, it's wraps, bro. This is it's so peak. We're doing it. Here it is. Bro, you and Nolan Bane, it's insane. It's crazy. But no, there should be a red dono on the screen after that video. I mean, I don't disagree with Charlie's take. Who am I to disagree? Like, it's not even really my idea exactly, but I agree with that. I do agree with that. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to say this. Anybody who wants to mute for the next 10 seconds, okay? If you want to, these are leaks. I don't know if they're necessarily spoilers. Don't know. I don't know. Okay. But the leaks for Secret Wars is that Doctor Doom, in the final battle, Tom Holland Spider-Man, really everybody pulls up, right? And Doctor Doom just beats them all brutally. But then it's Toby, Hugh Jackman, and RDJ's Iron Man that holds back Doctor Doom enough for Loki to get his powers back from Doom, okay? So that's like, as far as reliable, reputable leaks go, that's it, you know? That is going to happen in the movie unless between the leakers seeing that information, either in script form or whatever, gets rewritten. That's the only way that changes. I don't think Toby can lose, is the thing. Toby is so beloved. And the fact is, as well, is the Russos, everybody, after No Way Home, after Deadpool and Wolverine, the nostalgia icons, that's it for them. That's the goal. That's why they brought back RDJ. RDJ's movie, Iron Man came out in 2008, okay? That's a year after Spider-Man 3. As far as the generations of like nostalgia Marvel icons, Toby and RDJ are like the same generation. Yeah, with the Shocker Gauntlet, he punches Hulk. Yes. Who is stronger than Sora in Kingdom Hearts? I don't know. Sora's pretty strong. I don't know. You'd probably have to get into the comic book world. You probably have to start talking about Superman, to be honest, before you get characters that are stronger. Not gonna lie. Kingdom Hearts is crazy lore. Thank you, though, for the $1.99. Appreciate you, GOAT. Yes. Yes, I do, Junior J-Man. Why would I not? Has new Legends material been published yet? Like, what are we talking about here? But no. Toby is not losing. Toby is not losing. Once again, we're in leak territory. This one's basically just confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt. Leak territory. You can mute. Well, if you mute for 10 seconds if you don't want to hear it. Avengers Doomsday will start with Deadpool and Wolverine going to Toby's universe to destroy it because of a incursion. Toby's universe is causing an incursion with the X-Men universe. And there's some variation. That's going to happen. So Toby's going to fight Hugh Jackman at the start. But some variations of the rumor also include Green Goblin and Doc Ock fighting Ian McKellen Magneto, which would coincide because Ian McKellen did just say himself that he destroys New Jersey in the movie. Okay. So you can imagine that for whatever information he understands about the movie, because basically none of the actors, I should say, know the full story of what's happening in the movie so leaks don't take place. No, they're not. All of Legends is outdated. What about, like, first of all, you are reaching here. You want me to say that Qui-Gon Jinn beats Darth Vader, but that's not happening. So you can go somewhere else with that, first of all. But yeah. Yeah, so Green Goblin, here's the interesting thing about Doc Ock, though. Doc Ock's arms are verbatim resistant to magnetism. If you go back and watch Spider-Man 2, when he first puts them on, when they first get attached to him, they're immune to magnetism. And, the X-Men continuity is all scuffed up at this point, but I think it's safe to say that Ian McKellen Magneto scales to the feat he performed in Apocalypse, which was like multi-continental. So that'll be interesting. I did not see Sentry versus Superboy Prime. I don't really watch Death Battle. I am Death Battle. I'm the upgrade. I don't really bother with the old guard. You're waiting to see Charlie's waiting to see a red dono. I think it's possible. You believe Vader slams? Vader slams no diff, and that's the only way it goes. And I have all my videos still stand. I don't know, like, watch my videos about it. Watch my Darth Vader video. And that's the truth. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. Legends was already dead when I made the video. Like, there's no new information that could be discovered here. And I also use that statement in my video. Statement you're wondering about. It's all there. It's all there, I promise. Somebody donate red. That's Charlie's gonna crash out. He's gonna make it my problem if you guys do not. If someone doesn't donate a red dono. But yeah, we might get like multi-continental pumpkin bomb or something, bro. I have a How Powerful is Darth Vader video. However, Junior J, man, if you want to watch all my videos, the unlisted ones as well, those are Discord incentives. So if you become a channel member, click the link in the description. You get up in the Discord. There are links to all my videos in that. And if not, I'll just send you the link in there. Charlie will personally explode. That could happen. Venom did not get sent. Presumably, those villains are in the Tobyverse currently because they got sent back after No Way Home. Which, I don't really love that development, if that's true. I think that's pretty bizarre to think that, like... Because Harry's dead, okay? Harry Osborn's dead. So Norman gets cured, sent back to that reality. But he died, right? So he died in the past of that reality, but a different younger version of him that never died was sent there. His son is dead. His company's probably been like dissolved or Peter inherited it or something. And then Doc Ock, his wife's dead. Sandman's chilling, I guess. Are there two Sandmans? Because there would have to be, right? There'd have to be the one Sandman that after Spider-Man 3, you presume that he just still has his powers and goes to raise his daughter or whatever, right? You'd presume that. Is there now two of them? Because there's one that was cured in No Way Home. The one that we saw get cured, is he now... You know, that's where I'm like iffy. I'm like, does that really make a lot of sense that that would be the route that they take? I think it's pretty plausible unless they cut that, you know, whatever Ian McKellen was talking about where he destroys New Jersey. Because I could see what he's talking about being that the incursion is happening, the area around New York City is getting destroyed. They probably did render New Jersey getting destroyed, right? And Magneto is there, you know? Yeah, Reddit was your first problem. Reddit is your first problem. My concern, my lot in life is to make the best videos I can. And that sets me apart from... like, honestly trying to convince people, okay? My videos, I think, in being the best, they happen to be convincing. The best videos they can be. In that sense, they just are convincing. But to try to convince somebody of just, like, I'm going to talk to you for long enough that you listen to me, that's, like, maybe 1 in 100. 1 in 100 people are willing to be convinced, maybe. Who's stronger, Invincible or Spider-Man? I would say I'd rather see Spider-Man win that. So I'll just say Spider-Man locks in and wins. But probably on average, Mark is stronger. I'm just not a big like, oh, Spider-Man's a super top tier. He can knock anybody out. You know. Sentry and Magneto are going to be the MVPs. Yeah, I've heard a little bit of something like that. A friend or foe situation. It would just be weird. I mean, I guess it's like, are we really ever going to see Toby again outside of the Avengers movies? You know? How old will he be by the time Secret Wars comes out? Thank you, Junior J. How old is he going to be by then? Tobey Maguire age. Toby's 51. So Secret Wars comes out like late next year. I have seen that rumor, yeah. I mean, I felt bad about that show. You know, since I was seeing where they were going with it, I felt bad about it. So it's just one less thing for me to waste my time on, to be honest. Because I'm not watching that crap. If that rumor is true, not watching that crap. The rumors are Toby's going to be the one. Toby, Hugh Jackman, and RDJ are the ones who are going to defeat Doom, essentially. They're going to put up the fight long enough for Loki to get the powers back. Which, that makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense that they would do that. That they would do... because really, those are the three, like, guys... Those really are the three founders of... The three founders of Marvel. Not gonna lie. Who else is it? You got RDJ, Iron Man, Toby, and Hugh Jackman. Who else is it? You know? Who else are we even going to pretend it is? So it does make sense that they'd be the one. Yeah, Toby is old. Toby will be 53, maybe, by the time Secret Wars comes out. I think She-Hulk will be in it because that concept art for doing Secret Wars that leaked. Yeah, Blade, you could say. Blade is just not on that caliber, though. Blade is like just not. Okay, people love Blade, and people really want to say Blade did this. Blade saved Marvel. Blade created Marvel. That sounds like some hoopla. That sounds like a bunch of garbage to me. I think honestly, people didn't even know what Marvel was when they saw Blade. They just thought this is a vampire movie. People did not know Blade was a Marvel fucking character, okay? Spider-Man and Wolverine, those are obviously, people look at them and they know that those are Marvel. Blade in the movie isn't even comic book Blade. There's like barely anything. Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. Like, those three make the most sense. Yeah. No, I'm probably just not gonna watch fucking Green Lantern, bro. Especially if that rumor is true. I will wait, honestly, until the whole show is done, and if people say it's good, then I'd watch it. But so far, it's like I'm too big a fan of Hal Jordan, the wider Green Lantern mythos, to watch a piece of garbage Green Lantern show. Stan Lee said a lot of things, bro. I actually met Stan Lee and he didn't say that. Isn't that funny? I will say about the Hulk thing, Hulk fighting Spider-Man. This is all I'll say about it until another dono, somebody wants to know. You can't have people on one team. You know, I'm not going to hear it, okay? Hulk fans are like, man, MCU Hulk sucks, he's fodder. I'm not going to accept Spider-Man fans then saying, bro, Spider-Man's so strong, he beat the Hulk. Like, one of these opinions is going to have to relent to the other before I care, to be honest, okay? Does MCU Hulk suck, or is Spider-Man cool? Is it a cool feat because he can fight the Hulk, you know? I don't. These two things can't be true. They just can't be. And I am not really excited for the movie. I think it looks ugly. And it seems way too overstuffed. Every week, they're like, here's a new character that you never believed could be in this movie. Every week, there's a new rumor, new leak. So many villains. It's I don't believe it. I don't think both can be true. Hulk, people started hating on Hulk when they saw him get completely trashed by Thanos. And that was Savage Hulk. Savage Hulk also is like a joke in Ragnarok. He's like a big baby. He doesn't do anything in the movie. He gets his ass beat by Thor in that fight in the stadium. It's officially stated he would have lost that fight, that Hulk would have lost. And then he doesn't do anything. He fights a random fucking wolf and then like just mildly annoys Surtur. Like Surtur just tanks all of it and throws him away. He just doesn't, you know, it's nothing. So if you become a channel member by clicking the link in the description, you can watch all of my videos. Some of my videos are unlisted because the YouTube algorithm is not kind on people who, let's say if all of your videos that are listed have views, let's say 50,000 views and above, your channel is healthier and it's more likely to get put out there and suggested to more people, as opposed to a channel that has like, you know, a couple of videos that don't do so well. And that's just the nature of the beast. Everybody's got videos like that. Unless you are Mr. Beast. But all those videos are backed up. They're all in my Discord server. Hulk should be super powerful. Do you still think Damian loses to Tim? Somebody, you're gonna have to donate to address that. The more you donate, the more in-depth answer you will get as far as power scaling, as far as who would win. Or you can become a channel member by clicking the link in the description and you get all your questions answered. No extra charge. And access to the Discord server. Yeah, Hulk is just, I don't know. MCU Hulk is really never... He was cool in the first movie. But I'm gonna be honest, bro, like, Age of Ultron's where it started to go down. Because he goes on his rampage, you know, should be stronger than ever. He should be unstoppable. But then the Hulkbuster, you know, puts him away. There should have been maybe a bit more of a creative solution to that. And then Hulk doesn't really do anything against Ultron. Ultron's already softened up. And he just pulls up to punch him. That's all Hulk does at the end. He just punches him. After he's already, like, beaten, I've not been keeping up with my adventures with Superman. Oh, Michael Brent, thank you. Thank you for the 2. Mark Ruffalo, people don't remember. I remember, okay, when the first Avengers came out, Mark Ruffalo was so good in that movie as Hulk that people were like, finally they did it, okay? Finally, they cracked Hulk. They got a good actor. They did it right. They got the whole dynamic. They got the man, the monster, the sorrow, everything. They did it. Mark is great casting for Hulk, and he was great as Hulk in the first Avengers, but they've never really written him competently since. These guys don't like the Hulk. They don't care about the Hulk. They can't, maybe they literally can't tell as much of a Hulk story as they'd want to because he legally cannot have a solo movie because of Universal, so. Scalers these days will say character is a fraud. Yeah. It's just for clicks. It's for clicks. The opposite happens as well. If a character is like on screen and doesn't get killed by a powerful character, then they want to pretend that now it's just unassailable. All debates are over. Wrap it up. Here's the thing, okay, about Tom Holland. Tom Holland Spider-Man. You can like Tom Holland Spider-Man if you admit that it's Iron Boy Jr., okay? You should just say, yeah, I like that. It is irrefutable. Kevin Feige says it. It's in Tom Holland says it. It's in the DNA. Every time something new comes out about the development of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, you get something like the Russos being like, yeah, we didn't imagine he was responsible for Uncle Ben's death. And it's like, all right. So you can like him. You just have to admit that he's Iron Boy Jr. And then you have to respect Toby. You just have to do it. These are the only things I'll accept. Respect Toby, because that is the most comic accurate, faithful, earnest adaptation of Spider-Man in live action. That's it. If you don't do both of those things, opinion invalid. Opinion invalid, okay? Iron Boy Jr. is not Spider-Man. You can like Iron Boy Jr. You can say that this new character they made up is, you know, you think he's funny. You think he's funny. You can say that. I'll accept that. But Toby slander, you have to respect Toby. You have to respect Tobey Maguire. You have to accept Toby. You have to accept Sam Raimi as the goats that they are. Adam Warlock or Sentry in Endgame. Adam Warlock, I don't know if we'll ever see him again. We're gonna get Star-Lord in Secret Wars. That's again confirmed by that leaked concept art. And Sentry will also be in Doomsday and Secret Wars. But Adam Warlock in either of those, I find that unlikely. I don't know if we'll ever see him again. Hey, thank you so much for the 2 Morpheus. That's all. Or Mobius. Thank you, Morbius, for the 2. What's good about this is there's no comment. I just appreciate it's just support. It's just pure support. That's good. That's a real big fan there. Thank you so much. Tom actually will not. I don't think he'll be in Doomsday. No. I think Tobey's the only Spider-Man that's going to be in Doomsday. I think Tom is not going to have much to do in the two Avengers. The speculation or the leaks or whatever you want to call it is that Tom will have an arc in Secret Wars about uniting the people of like New York, like on Battle World, New York City. There'll be some Battle World version of New York City, and Tom will like unite them or something. He'll unite New York. Like he'll be standing on a rooftop being like, everyone who's with me, let's fight Doctor Doom. And they'll go, yeah. That'll be his little thing. His little storyline. Andrew's the most comic accurate. Andrew, to be honest, does not have something so offensively non-comic accurate compared to Tom. But then here's the thing, okay? Is you could say Andrew and Tobey are both more comic accurate than Tom, but Andrew's movies just suck, okay? Amazing Spider-Man 2 sucks. And Amazing Spider-Man 1 is just a more boring, less charming version of Spider-Man 1, okay? Lizard sucks. Uncle Ben is worse. Yeah. It doesn't look as interesting. You know, there are good moments in Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, but Spider-Man 1 is like a perfect Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man 2 is a masterpiece, and Spider-Man 3 goes hard. Okay, Spider-Man 3 is actually just the shit. Sorry. Yeah, something like that's gonna happen, Smoothie. But Hugh Jackman Wolverine will allow, like, he'll stay there and let, like, he'll die, quote unquote, with Tobey and Tobey's universe. But Tobey and Hugh are gonna play big roles in Secret Wars, so it's gonna be moot. Better filmography between I don't care about that. I don't care about that question. I don't know and I don't care. Don't care about that. If I cared, I would know. But I don't care. And I don't care to know. Yeah. No, Feige is kind of a fraud where he's like, the first Spider-Man Thor, he tried to join the Fantastic Four. And it's like, yeah, they said we're not going to pay you. And he left and said, screw this. And then he never really joined a superhero team again until the New Avengers, until like 45 years into his publication history. You know, he never joined a super team. There's like one time maybe where him, Wolverine, Hulk, and Ghost Rider, I think, were like a ragtag little team. But Spider-Man's never been a team player. Are the X-Men and Doomsday the same in the Fox universe? The reports that I've seen is that they've experienced events akin to like X-Men 1, 2, and 3 as well as Days of Future Past. But I'm going to be honest, I think it's just going to remain nebulous. I think the continuity in those movies have always just sucked. They never cared. And that is one thing I'll credit the MCU is that Feige obviously paid attention to the X-Men movies. Like, X-Men, those movies, it is crazy how little they cared and how bad they messed it up. You know? Like, it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to not make those kind of mistakes. And so it's like, okay, you kind of do have to give credit to the MCU a bit because they've never really broken the continuity like that, okay? People complain, what? How come no one's bringing up the giant frozen statue in the North Pole or whatever, in the Indian Ocean, wherever Tiamat was, you know, frozen or whatever. But does anyone really care about that? I don't know, bro. Is that going to change everyone's life overnight? Everyone's going to have to talk about it? But Spider-Man is more of a loner than Miles? I don't know. I haven't read a lot of Miles. Are they the same? I don't know. I mean, I think it is obviously supposed to be the same. So maybe it's technically a variant, but it's a variant in the sense that they're exactly the same, you know? There are two identical copies, more or less. I think the script talks about it. Maybe. Because the script for Deadpool and Wolverine was posted. Maybe the art book or something. I don't know.
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake? Looks like the elevator in the back is the only way up. Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the...
Man, it's crazy that, like, we're supposed to be like, wow, Chris Evans is back. But he was just in Deadpool, bro.
Snake, don't forget this is a covert operation.
The, little guy.
The bad guy's only one of you.
It's funny putting,
Around it before you know it.
putting, in a text message. It's just a bunch of crap, bro. Yeah, I've heard that the resetting the timeline might have been like a soft reboot or something. I don't know if I buy that. Because what are we supposed to believe that, like, the machine that Deadpool and Wolverine short circuit or whatever, the Time Ripper, right? That exists in Deadpool's universe, in the quote unquote Fox universe, right? And they regenerate the timeline. Are we supposed to believe that there's some metaphysical reality that 1 second in the future doesn't exist, 1 second in the past before that doesn't exist, and then the only matter that exists immediately is like that room or the immediate surroundings? Like, what does that mean? That they reset the timeline? I don't know. They regenerated it. I don't know. Can't wait for Captain Carter. I don't know if Captain Carter will appear. Apparently Peggy will be like turned into one of Doctor Doom's like witches, and he's gonna have a bunch of witch acolytes, and he will turn Peggy into one of them or something to that effect. So I don't think we're gonna get Captain Carter. Haley Atwell is like, she got a really good gig. She's been in the MCU for like ever since. She was the love interest in one of the Phase 1 movies. She immediately got like a TV show. She cameoed all over the place. She cameoed in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was in Winter Soldier. She was in Endgame. She's a voice actor in all the animations. They did give her a big role in Captain Carter. She got to be Captain Carter in live action. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what about that character people became like so fixated on, like the developers or whatever. But she kind of got a good gig there. Doing mainly beefing with Steve is so lame. Yeah, it's definitely not ideal. It's definitely not Comic Doom. It's not Comic Doom. And it just is the way it is. It's the Russos are like, what's our formula here? And Civil War worked. Civil War was a big success. This is basically going to be Civil War. It's going to be Civil War 2, really. You're going to have the X-Men versus Avengers. You're going to have a hero team clashing. And then you're going to have RDJ beefing with Cap because he blames him for the death of his family. So... So yeah. Tony creating Ultron. Him dismissing Iron Man would have been pretty cool to see. Yeah, it's just a different Doom. It's just not comic Doom. And that's the MCU, man. It's not the comics. People need to just... How many times? How many times? Here's the thing, bro. Is I'll be so for real. Nobody cared about Iron Man. Nobody cared about Captain America. Nobody cared about Thor, okay? They made competent movies using those characters, and maybe you can say they're comic accurate or not, but whether or not that was true, nobody would have cared when those movies came out, okay? Nobody would have cared. People understand, when people say that Tom is not comic accurate, here's the fact of it, okay? There's plenty of people, nerds online, that read the comics, sure, okay? That make these criticisms, make these observations. But those observations are like mainstream, okay? They actually change the way they made the movies because those criticisms became widespread. They broke containment. No Way Home never would have happened if those criticisms that he's Iron Boy Jr., if those weren't acknowledged, if those weren't just like widespread, okay? They don't, when people say he's not comic accurate, what they mean is they understand, or they have calculated, or they have reasoned or assumed that the Tobey movies in particular are comic accurate. I think, honestly, if you were to do like a lie detector test with the average person, let's say they have like a middling understanding of the comics. They've read a few stories or they've watched like videos breaking down plots of comics, right? If there was a good movie and the acting was good, the storyline was good, whatever, and the character was not faithful, and you asked them and you said, what is a pro of this movie? And they say, well, I like the comic accuracy. Like that, they just conflate those two things because they don't know what that really means. They just don't get it. They don't really understand that. That's not something that the average person does not know well enough if something's comic accurate or not. But they know, see, this is the thing with Tom Holland Spider-Man fans too, is they need to admit they like Iron Boy. They need to admit that it's not comic accurate, but they like it. There's really nothing wrong with that, okay, in principle. There just isn't. But they won't do that because if you say, even to a layman, okay, if you say, I don't care about the comics, I don't care, even a layman would, that's like painting you as a target, basically. Or you're kind of putting like a kick me sign on your back, you know? To say when analyzing comic book media that you don't care about the comics, to really just put that out there, to be like, I like the non-accurate version. I like the MCU fanfic Iron Boy version more than the comic version. You know, for you to say that, that's people won't do that. They don't want to do that. That's why people would argue like, no, it is comic accurate because of this and that. Like, that's almost, people get that opinion for something to be comic accurate or not has a lot of cachet and holds a lot of weight, right? When you're criticizing or praising the movies. And I think that's fair because the comics are the best. Those are the stories, okay? And I'm tired of them being disrespected. I'm tired of these people they're just wiping their asses with these storylines. It's sickening. It is very sickening to me. But if Doctor Doom is cool, literally nobody will care if he's comic accurate. There'll be some people who love the comics and would love to have seen comic Doctor Doom, but motherfuckers who say that they haven't read a Doctor Doom comic, they don't really get it. It's like if you watch a clip from EMH, from Earth's Mightiest Heroes, where Doctor Doom fucks up the Avengers, and people are like, this is so comic accurate, but they haven't read that it's this game of telephone that's been played. Comics are like the Rosetta Stone or something, or the Dead Sea Scrolls more so. people in the real world, that's like a distant, unobtainable, ancient cave drawing that you can't be interpreted by modern language. Like, people don't read these things, bro. People don't read Doctor Doom. They don't do that. That's not something that happens, okay? People don't read Batman. People don't read Spider-Man. This is true. And it's almost beyond, with comic books, I think with video games, it's one thing, like a specific series. I would categorize that as LARPers, or I would at least say that that is like, that is the LARPer phenomenon that's been observed. I thank you so much, T-Cause. Thank you so much for the 5 Canadian. Very proud of it, very happy with it. I hope it continues to do well. But honestly, I'm just glad that you guys, I'm glad to get a lot of people enjoying it. That always makes my day. That makes my day. There's been a lot of positive response. A lot of people being like, yo, this was your best one yet. Holy edit. You know? But yeah. The Spider-Boy Jr. stuff, it's like, don't even pretend like you read the comics, bro. What are you talking about? And Far From Home, Homecoming, whatever, bro. Homecoming is honestly inoffensive for the most part. It's symptomatic. They could have course corrected, okay? Far From Home is an abomination. Far From Home is an abomination. But yeah, with I can't even say it's like LARP. It's like, I don't know. It's just like they speak another language. It's like an alien. It's like talking to an alien. Yeah, no one's read that stuff. Anything Snake could teach Arkham Batman that would be worth his time? I don't know if Arkham Batman could comprehend the things that Snake could teach. Okay, I don't know if that's possible. I don't think he has that potential. Yeah, Star-Lord's a perfect example. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Star-Lord being comic accurate or not. Nobody cares. But that's what the MCU does. The MCU formula is to not be beholden to any of that, okay? Guardians of the Galaxy's basically proved it. You can change who the character's father is, which therefore changes the entire point of the character. Star-Lord in the comics has nothing to do about this, like, am I human or not? What do I love more? Whatever. There's none of that. There's none of that. His team is different. His team acts differently. It's not the same at all. It's not the same at all. But that's what they do. They did that with Spider-Man too. They did that with Spider-Man. They go, well, what can we... I don't know. They just feel like they feel at liberty. The difference with Spider-Man and what made the criticism stick is there were many movies already. And that those movies informed the audience's understanding of the term comic accurate. You know? And I think a lot of that too is there probably is like an innocent grassroots, origin of that, because if you're a normal person, you probably know someone who reads comics, and those people did love the Raimi movies. Like the multiple comic writers, there's a video where they interviewed him after they got out of the theater of Spider-Man 2, and they're like, this is amazing, this is perfect. Like industry legends love the Raimi movies. Real directors. I don't know who that is, Deuces. I don't know every person on the planet. Let me try to see what the hell you're talking about. What should I know about this person? Now you got me looking at my comments. I don't see who you're talking about here. Oh, I see. 17.9 subs. Can't say I've ever watched his content, but I appreciate all the support from anybody. Yeah, they just, people, the MCU guys, they just don't care. Spider-Man was the one. Spider-Man was the one. And that's why a lot of people got, it does not matter if something is absolute dog water, okay? Whatever the first thing that someone consumes is, it's basically 100% guaranteed that will be their favorite thing, okay? There are people whose favorite Spider-Man show is Ultimate Spider-Man from Disney XD. They will never be convinced. They will never at least be like, oh, Spectacular's my new favorite. I watched that and that one's way better. That's like 1 in 100 people might have the capacity to do that. Once you see the first thing, that's it. And honestly, that terrifies me because we keep getting iterations, and it's really a new phenomenon. Comics were around long before the comic book movie boom, and now we have like comic book fans, basically like the purity of the comic, the main continuity. You have to contend with, embrace yourself, honestly, for every bad interpretation or adaptation. Brace for the chances that it gets beloved, it gets a fan base, and then people will now be like, what's this? Mary Jane Watson, you mean Michelle Jones? You know, they pick up a Spider-Man comic and they're like, what is this? First of all, why would you do that, you know? But let's say hypothetically, if Spider-Man comics were good, they'd pick it up and be like, where's Ned Leeds? I don't get it. Who's this Harry Osborn? What is this? You know? We're only so far removed from that being like a possibility. And from what I understand, there was the X-Men 97 season 1 showrunner. He got outed because of something. I don't know what he was up to. But for better or worse, right, he was fired. And for better, in my opinion, he did a video and he was talking about how when you develop a show at Marvel, they almost have this antagonistic relationship with the comics. They don't want to do storylines from the comics because they think that they're like problematic or something. They don't want to adapt stories that were made by, and again, this is in his words, you can look this up. They don't want to tell stories, they don't want to adapt stories that were written by white men. That's something he said, okay? And I'm pretty sure he's a gay black guy, and he said that was a problem he had to contend with. He wanted to adapt in the show. He wanted to adapt the storylines faithfully. And so they almost have this antagonistic relationship with the comics, and you can totally understand why certain changes are to do exactly what I'm saying, because the way that it is now is the MCU, maybe not so much now, because the MCU's kind of fallen off of favor, but for a time it certainly was the case that the movies led the trail. They were the trailblazers when it came to the comics adapting. The movies now, you know, it's all ass backwards. The video games, everything was like chasing the MCU. And not just the superficial content of it, but also the tone and the aesthetic and everything. So, that was a bit of a peek under the hood about like maybe why a lot of these changes are being done. Is they don't respect their source material, and they'd rather change it to fit their worldview. And then they do that knowing that the shows and the movies have a bigger audience and create a bigger impression, and almost have like a longer shelf life in somebody's psyche compared to the source material. And that is a big problem, because it's like, okay, I get that things change, but in 100 years, is it just Not even in 100. I mean, who knows? I think, honestly, for a lot of characters, you can go back decades and be like, yeah, this is pretty much still the same character, right? But is that going to be the case in 10 more years? How many things are we going to mix up and change and try to ignore and try to, supplant the past? So Sam did respect. Sam had a undying love for the first 4 years of publication of Spider-Man. He had such an earnest love for all of that. Yeah. Yeah, that show, that was bold doing that flashback, because it's like, bro, you really want me to believe that this is the continuity? Yeah, well, the thing is, Wolf, is, again, most people don't really have the mass audience of people when they go to see a Thor movie. They're not like, I can't wait for this storyline to be adapted. I hope they do this accurately. That's not what most people, that's not what 90% of the audience are looking for. They're looking to be entertained, in just a generic sense. They don't have preconceived notions outside of the previous movies. So when they make the changes, when they change it, some of the changes, I'm sure, are from a good place, subtly adapting something for the art form. But then some of the changes are, if you take the guy at his word, the X-Men 97 director, some of the changes are, because they want to put their stamp on it and kind of replace history, basically. So it's unfortunate. Yeah, I was hoping that the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon would be just the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. I don't think they'll ever do that. I think that would be awesome if they looked at it like anime, but it seems like those guys just respect the source material way more, But also, comics or manga have a much bigger install base pound for pound in Japan, because their society is always busy, always moving. So manga is the mode of entertainment, reading comics, because you can read a comic while you're on the move, while you're walking, while you're at work, between jobs or whatever, while you're, transmuting back home. But comics in America, in the West, are much more niche by comparison. They're much more niche by comparison. So when they go to make a manga, they understand, okay, people love the manga. When they go to make an anime, they understand that, So... Anime directors get butchered over the slightest change. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And, the Sam Raimi movies are definitely not a panel for panel, I wouldn't go that far, but it is crazy how adherent they really were. I think honestly the biggest offense is kind of combining MJ with Gwen a little bit, in especially the first movie. But yeah, I don't know. It makes sense. I think, honestly, if you're making the one movie, because that's all Sam Raimi knew he was doing. He loved Spider-Man, and he's like, okay, I might get one chance to do this. You probably would just want to do that more or less, just kind of combine Gwen and Mary Jane a bit. Just make like a definitive love interest, because Mary Jane, at that point you have hindsight, so Gwen dies, and Gwen is not his one true love, so. Yeah. It's just peak. I'm gonna try to be open-minded about this new movie. Genuinely. I'm gonna make a video about it because it'll do well, and I'm the guy. I'm the guy to do it. So, but you just can't outdo Spider-Man 2. There will never be a personal, heartfelt, inventive movie at that level again when it comes to Spider-Man. It's just not likely. I don't know, bro. If we talk about all the comics, then I don't know. They're both just terrible. They're both just terrible. Horrible set of options. You should hit up Betty Brant or something. Thank you so much for another $1.99. Michael Brent. Put you on the screen. Could Link survive Marvel? Link's pretty strong. There's a pretty concise scale at this point, I think, to get Zelda into that kind of conceptual territory. Because in the Japanese, they basically just say verbatim that one of the three goddesses created order. Created order outright. So that's pretty high tier. All of Marvel, though, no. Like, if literally every Marvel character was going to jump Link, he would be screwed. But he can make it pretty far if this was like a gauntlet, maybe. If there was like, you do like 10 or so characters, put them all into tiers appropriately, and then Link kind of runs the gauntlet, he'd get pretty far. Would clear the street tiers for sure. Might beat some of the Heralds, I'd say. Yeah, no. I mean, those movies have the best Spider-Man soundtracks, hands down. The MCU soundtracks are garbage. They're all crap. They did a good rendition of the 60s Spider-Man theme song in like the Marvel logo of Homecoming, and that should have just been his theme. That like da 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 da. That's generic. That's so generic. It's crap. Da 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 da. That's garbage, bro. It's garbage. So it would have been better if the theme, MCU Spider-Man theme, was just the theme. It was just a orchestral rendition of the classic 1960s Spider-Man theme. I would be very much down for that. The 90s theme is peak too. I don't know if they would ever do something like that though. Do a rendition of that. That would be peak, though. That would be peak. Man. I do need DC to bounce back because this Marvel stuff is just exhausting me. But between the like physical media, the state of games, state of the movies and the TV shows, and some of the speculation about comics going like webtoon only, like Marvel just abandoning physical comics and going webtoon. I'm like, bro, maybe it's just like, I don't know, I need to like spiritually retire or something. I need to like only really, like I can get engaged with whatever I need to for videos and work and stuff like that. But I need to just sort of spiritually resign myself to like, here's the cutoff date, you know? Here's the cutoff date. What's up, Seeing Red? Seeing Red, you got a dono for me or what, bruh? What you got for me, man? Feeling it. I'm feeling it. My spirits have been lowered. It's bleak, but there is one cure. There's an obvious cure here. Anyone who does not present this cure to me is obviously just a hater. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was going around a bit. Oh, Seeing Red, what you got, bruh? What you got, bruh? So excited. Bro, I'm not a red tonight. Let me see what I can do for you. Okay. Charlie, one of these days, it'll be your turn to dono. Just how the cookie crumbles. They're releasing it to earn goodwill back. They're crafty. They're crafty. They will do anything to artificially sort of bump up engagement to facilitate their ignoring of the criticism. People complain about the state of things, about all digital, but then they put out digital copies of super popular games. Those games are successfully well received or whatever. They're downloaded. And they go, oh, well, look, nobody really cares. Nobody really cares about, you know, all digital and having no discs and not owning anything. And once again, it's just ball and gun gamers are ruining everything every time. All day, every day. All day, every day. Yawn. It's true, bro. Because they'll just chill out for whatever. They are used to every mother flipping week almost. There's a new reskin of a game sold at full price and they gobble it up. Seeing Red, what is this? What's going on, man? I'm just gonna say it straight up, like, what is happening here? Oh, seeing red with the 20. Thank you, bro. Yeah, I gotta talk about Spider-Man, okay? I gotta talk about Spider-Man. This is my life. I have to do it. Thank you so much for the 20. God is good, brother. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Repacks. Yeah, nothing but dubs in the chat. Seeing red. What's wrong with Spider-Man? Spider-Man is not goated. I'm sorry. Most of his comics are garbage. And most of his movies are not that good. Okay? And most of his shows aren't that good either. 90 Spider-Man goated. Spider-Man MTV, like, Spider-Man Unlimited, not really goated. Okay, actually watch it, alright? It's not that good. Spider-Man MTV, kind of cool, I guess. Spectacular Spider-Man, really good. Ultimate Spider-Man sucks. Marvel Spider-Man sucks. And this new Spider-Man, the latest, like, Your Friendly Neighborhood, I actually liked it. I think it's the best thing Disney's done with Spider-Man, honestly. But yeah. I listen, you can go anywhere and people will just love Spider-Man, I love Spider-Man. They'll put on the costume, they'll swing around in the room. I love Spider-Man. Dude, Spider-Man is so cool. Dude, he can beat up Spider-Man. Can beat up any Spider-Man is honestly Harold tier. You go anywhere and hear that, okay? I will be the cold bucket of ice water. And I'll splash it into your face and I'll say, listen, wake up. Wake up. Okay? It's not that good though. It's Joe Kelly's Spider-Man is not that good. I read the first like 20 something issues and I'm like, okay. I'm good. The right answer would have been Zdarsky Spider-Man. His Peter Parker run and Life Story are really good. I'm just like, who cares? I just don't know. Just don't know. Spider-Man is like popcorn. Spider-Man is like just a sugary soda. That nerd voice is pretty spot on. I am a nerd. Let's not, there's a nerd in me. I just happen to not, it's not quite outwardly expressed all the time, Thankfully, I don't look like a nerd. But it's not hard for me. It's all there. But yeah. Chip did write a Spider-Man. That is what I said. His Peter Parker run. You can't convince me that Chip Zdarsky did not write Spider-Man. Yeah. Spider-Man, the Spider-Man PS4 is good. That was really fun. But 2 is just... Miles was kind of like, okay. I just can't with this Infinite. It's just tired. It's just, I'm tired, man. Like, people really could just never get enough. I don't know what run you were talking about. Isn't it called Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man? The one where he goes back in time and hangs out with his young self for a bit and it creates a new timeline? See, you're a fake Spider-Man fan. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a bigger Spider-Man fan than you, and I'm a Spider-Man hater. I'm a certified Spider-Man hater. I like Spider-Man, but this like constant, like for people, they just don't ask much of it, I guess. If he wears a red and blue costume and is not actively getting cucked on panel, they're like, no, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, you know how many comics are out there and have been written that you could call pretty good? That doesn't clear the bar for me. Like, how many more? I'm sorry, Spider-Man, like, going to a little kid who has cancer and being like, I'm Spider-Man and I'm here for you. You know, that people post stuff like that, like, this is peak. It's like, bro, that it's been done to multiple times. He's saved the average person from a mugging or a car crash or something. Like, I just don't know. There's no momentum. There's no ingenuity. There's nothing new. There's nothing endearing. There's nothing that I haven't read a million times before at this point. I don't think Spider-Man is a dynamic character. I don't think you can write 1,000 issues about him and keep it interesting. I think he has a very strong foundation. I think the Ditko era is good. I think Straczynski's Spider-Man is good. I think what's his name? DeMatteis Spider-Man is good. And like I said, the Bedrock, the Ditko Lee stuff, I think that's classic stuff. But I actually don't think Spider-Man is like Batman in that you can sort of keep putting him into different scenarios. I just don't think he's as elastic a character as Batman. As an example, I don't think Spider-Man is as elastic as Batman. I think Spider-Man has like very set in stone dynamics and relationships and a rogues gallery, and there's not much depth that you can apply. I thought Nick Spencer's run had good moments, but it just fizzled out because it was too focused on retconning the Harry and Gwen stuff. I just didn't think it was. It just tapered out. I think the Nick Spencer run is like the Tom King Batman run of Spider-Man comics. Superman is actually good. That's true. Yeah. I mean, it just comes down to, like, I think my audience, especially my Discord server, we're kind of cursed with knowledge in that we have read a lot of this stuff, but 99% of it is LARP. 99% of the people out there is LARP, and it actually makes me... I'm glad that we're in this like LARP era. Like, you can just call it out. Like, it has a name, the phenomenon, it's been observed. You can't doubt it. You know, it's out there. And I just like that is like been weaponized, because I think it's an epidemic. It's everywhere. It's so pervasive. Like, bro, shut up. Stop. Stop pretending to care about any of this, please. Sit in the theater, laugh with, popcorn, chunks of popcorn falling out of your mouth on your Spider-Man graphic tee. You do not deserve a Twitter opinion about what's comic accurate or, whatever. What's peak. And I'm obviously not talking to anybody in here, but I don't think Peter should grow, I'll be honest. I don't think he should grow. People aren't even talking about growth, because when they talk about it, it's arbitrary. Nobody wants to see Peter grow old and die, do they? Okay? It's not really growth. To say that a lack of growth is the problem is not true. You guys want a couple of superficial elements, and you don't even really want them that badly, because Ultimate Spider-Man provided them, and Ultimate Spider-Man is boring. The new Ultimate Spider-Man, it almost seems like the Marvel themselves was like, all right, let's give them what they want, but let's make it really boring to prove that the main run is still viable, right? That people don't need MJ and kids. Peter got MJ, and they had children, and the book is boring. It had a promising start, but it's like not worth reading. I'm sorry. It just isn't. So people don't want Peter to grow to 60 years old. People don't want they don't want quote unquote growth. I think that's like an oversimplification. It's not even it might be, I don't know how to describe it, but that's not what people are really looking for when you dissect it. Far From Home is so accurate, bro. It's like a motion comic. Far From Home is like, dude, I love the issue where he saves Michelle Jones from Sandman, who's actually a Mysterio drone. Favorite MCU movie? I don't know. Probably Winter Soldier. Maybe First Avenger as well. First Iron Man too. The first Avengers movie. Yeah, I just think it's like when people think of solutions or the idealized scenario involves it going on forever, right? Because you say this is too stagnant, or that he's not growing enough. He should get back with MJ. Okay, that is presupposing that those elements or correcting them would allow the book to continue and have momentum and be fun to read in perpetuity into the future. I actually just think it's just you tapped it. You've tapped it. You've ran it dry. He's not elastic enough to be put in these different scenarios. I would like to see, if you read Batman in like the 2000s, the early 2000s, they kept doing these big epic arcs where you got, like, Nightfall was really the first of them. You got Nightfall, and then like Contagion and No Man's Land, and they kind of just kept going and building. I would like to see, because you kind of, the Clone Saga, the Marvel and DC, they were pitching it back and forth back in the day, and I don't know, something like that could be interesting to really test it. But at this point, I mean, you even look at the Joe Kelly run, and the most interesting thing that they did was have Norman be Spider-Man for a bit. And even that's not really new ground, because it's just sort of superior Spider-Man. It's just this, the trope of, let's see how challenging it is for the hero to do his thing, because, from the POV of a villain or something, trying to live in that role. People don't really know what they want. The kids example is great. They got it and then didn't show up for it. The hype, yeah, exactly. The hype didn't last long. What's up, Invincible? I've been doing well. How have you been doing? I did not watch the World Cup. If you can imagine me, not really a sports guy. Never really been about that. I also feel like I kind of like curse sports when I watch them, because every UFC fight I've watched, it's either been like an insane upset. Like, I've probably watched 5 UFC events live, and 2 of them included Sean beating Izzy and this Connor thing that just happened. So I feel like I should probably just stay away from sports for like the betterment of the world. But to be fair, I don't know. I mean, Sean versus Izzy, I plead the fifth there, I guess. That was kind of epic, I won't lie. You can love or hate Sean, whatever, but an upset underdog fight that you don't see coming, and it's like a domination, that's way more entertaining than whatever the hell Connor did, bro. Give me a break with that. He should have just punched himself in the face to start. Get it over with. That was so disappointing. Anyway. Yeah, people don't know what they want. Because it's just this regurgitation, this Ouroboros, snake eating its own tail. Somebody says it, somebody makes an observation. Why didn't he have kids? What, bro? Because you read Spider-Man in the 90s? What's your favorite Mary Jane wife storyline where she had a miscarriage? Like, bruh. How many of y'all read MC2 and really love that? You think it's possible? I don't know. Is it possible? Possible, probably. Yeah, it's probably possible. Will it happen? Is it plausible? I would say no, because Nick Lowe is awful. The editor of Spider-Man is awful. But honestly, I don't know. Sometimes I toilet around in my head. I think I'm honestly just... Well, what I was saying earlier with... You presuppose these things will lead to something going on in perpetuity, but I don't really want... Not everything needs to go on forever. Things just run out. You really think that there can be like 100,000 issues of Spider-Man and it'll never get old? You know? I just don't think so. And they're obviously not going to end it, but like for me, I'm just like, okay. What more can we do? Spider-Man won't be with MJ. Maybe a new villain shows up that is like immediately disposable. You know, I don't know. We learned that Shocker has like a dying grandma. That never gets brought up again. You know, I don't know. Goblin, like, there's just not what I can't imagine being in the writer's room, if there is such a thing at Marvel, and being like, okay, so like, can we give Scorpion? Well, we already did. I literally thought, I was like, can we give Scorpion a symbiote? But they did that. So it's like, can we give like Doc Ock a symbiote for a bit? And then it's like, why would we do that? Like, would he be still super smart? And it's like, no, I guess he wouldn't be super smart anymore. I guess like the symbiote arms don't really make sense because the arms aren't organic. Yeah, I guess not. I guess we won't do that. Can we? You know, they gave Goblin a symbiote. They gave. It's just who can get a symbiote. Who? Blah blah blah. Just freeze him for a bit and come back to him later. Maybe just wait. Yeah, maybe just wait until you have a good idea. If you have a great idea, then write Spider-Man. But that's probably the case overall, right? They should just do that for all of comics. You know? But it sucks. Having to do like weekly, and then there's miniseries. It's just overexposed. They've just written too much. They've done everything. They have done it all.
Are you smoking? Didn't you know
Yeah, they tried that with Ultimate Spider-Man. That's exactly what it was, big mighty cheese.
Yeah, so what?
And I like the original Ultimate Spider-Man. Thought that was good.
Science. You don't know how good a cigarette tastes in the morning.
Yeah, they're all good guys, but then they all go bad, and it's tough. That is just a random-ass question. Neiman News. Who cares, bro? No, he's not that irradiated, bruh. It's a good kind of radiation where his kids inherit the powers. I just think Spider-Man is like, you know, you have his classic elements that they just keep iterating upon. They've stretched it as thin as it could go, and then it just keeps bouncing back, right? It just bounces back to, I hate the term status quo, but it keeps bouncing back. And then it's like you can't stretch it again because you already did it. You already did Superior Spider-Man. You already did fucking what? Lizard's Cured? I don't know, you know? You already did it. So it's really like all you can do with him is adapt the classic elements, and maybe you can keep refining those things with like iterative reboots or iterative adaptations. But genuinely, there's like only so far you can take it. I will be the new Spider-Man any day now. You guys think I could voice act Spider-Man? You guys think there's a chance? Somebody out there, Let me do the comic where he talks to the cancer patient child. Let me do that. Please give me just give me a shot. Avi Arad, I'll do it.
Smoking seems not so bad, no?
I'll meet with Avi Arad.
Surveillance camera.
I'll do my pitch. I'll say, listen, could we give like Silver Sable a symbiote? Jane Gwyn, you were a legendary donator. What's up, man? New video. I mean, I wouldn't. I've been told it's peak. Is that worth something? Is that worth a sick dono? So far, we're missing yellow and red, but otherwise, we have a dono. Yeah, let me pull up to Avi. Avi, what's up, man? But the good thing about PlayStation 3 is it has photoreal graphics. Will I watch the Cyberpunk show when you get the chance? Yeah. Yeah, sure. The next day I'm totally free, I'll watch Cyberpunk. The next day that I'm not like writing, recording, streaming. Dang, Jangwin's flat broke. We do need a yellow and red. This is right. I agree. Let's see how we're looking here. Oh my goodness. I am Iron Boy. Hey everyone, Iron Boy here. Like, bro, not responsible for Uncle Ben. Gets an Iron Man suit, superpowers. Girlfriend is Michelle Jones. Michelle Jones is not a party girl supermodel who uses those things to distance herself from her rough home life. No Osborne in sight. Cash App 60 for you to finish Cyberpunk. Alright, bet, bro. Alright, bet. If anybody wants to Cash App and send me 100% of that, that ring-a-ding you're sending over, it's Crisis Comics. There it is, bro. I'll finish Cyberpunk if I get 60. That's what I'm talking about. Never liked pre One More Day, MJ. Whatever, man. I mean, listen, at least you admit it. At least you admit it, bruh. Give me rent. It's true, though. Dang, they might be bringing a poo back to The Simpsons? That's crazy. Ari Shakar, or whatever, is a total fuck. Arnold's son wants to play Bane? That's funny. Arnold could have been Bane in Batman Forever or whatever. Is it Batman and Robin? Yeah, Batman and Robin. Could have been Bane in that. That probably would have been pretty sick. Austrian Bane. That would have been a little tough. Fix this damn door. Ice Age. By the way, yeah, Mr. Freeze. That was a bit much. The Ice Age. I just think it's peak, bro. I actually did kind of like that movie as a kid. I won't lie. But see, I'm the 1 in 100 that goes like, yeah, it's not my favorite Batman.
Colonel, can you hear me? Loud and clear. What's the situation?
That would be funny. I don't know. I don't think he can be banned. Is he even an actor?
Just as I expected.
Does he take acting lessons?
You'll have to take the elevator to the surface, but make sure nobody sees you.
I just don't know about that. I just don't know.
Snake, don't forget this is a covert operation. There are lots of bad guys and only one of you. If you're spotted, you'll be surrounded before you know it.
If that happens, you're finished.
Spider-Man and Batman movies, which are better? There are there less or more crappy movies? Let's see, Batman '89. I don't really love that movie. I don't know if I can say they're bad, but
Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
thank you, bro, for the 60. I will get back on the cyberpunk train. But you know how it is, man. That video that was an intensive little edit there that I had to put together. So you guys got to be patient with me, you know? Out of any entertainment genre, how many years is it between seasons of some TV shows, you know? How many... You gotta wait a month for the next issue of a comic. A comic's like 3 pages long. Takes 10 years to make a video game now, you know? I'm one man. And these things take me it takes time. But thank you so much. I'll hop back on the cyberpunk train. Yeah, I remember that, drop kicking Arnold. Bro, that is like crazy. That was before there was like AI videos. Affleck's Batman and Hardy's Bane. Bro, shut up with this Tom Hardy bit. You are obsessed. You have a real problem. Tom Hardy's, you like, I love Tom Hardy's Bane as much as I love Toby's Spider-Man. You have like a real love. We love that. Mark a bat on his bald head. I could see that. I could absolutely see that. Can you imagine if the dropkick folded Arnold though? Like it just completely folded him like a lawn chair. Some random guy just cripples Arnold. You'd be like, wow, not that strong, huh? Arnold's the GOAT. Arnold and Sly are just like, they don't make him like that anymore. Who is there even anyone close to a modern day Arnold and Sly? Who is it? Who is it, bro? Who is it? I remember when Jonathan Majors and Michael B, they're like, yo, we're gonna be the new like Hollywood duo, and then look how that turned out. Shaking my head. Who hasn't seen that cigar video? Who has not seen it? I'm a stud. Yeah, it's bad, Charlie. You gotta do something, man. You just gotta start making videos about Bane. Could do fucking Nolan Bane versus Batfleck, bro. Just make that video and just like, I don't know, do it. Could Nolan Bane survive Batman v Superman, bro? Just do it. You know, that's your passion, clearly. You gotta just get a move on with it. I am Bane! No one's reaching Marvel's high. Yeah, I'm not even talking about like buff whatever. There's like nobody at that level, bro. Of like just goated. Hollywood is like vacant, bruh. All the new stars are just are crap. There's really none of them. There's like two. There's two. Am I supposed to be who cares? Glenn Powell? What's going on? Who cares? Who cares? Yeah, bro, you got to do Nolan Bane versus somebody or put him in some scenario. What if he won, you could say? What if he just blew up Gotham? What would he do after that? You know, let's say he blows up Gotham, kills Batman, but Bane survives. Like, what does he do next? The Rock is just not. You're probably right in that that's like the closest answer. But The Rock's also old. Isn't The Rock like 60 years old, bro? Like, come on, man. Yeah, the Batmobile's pretty nuts. Batmobile's pretty insane. The more the days pass, the less likely it is that we'll get Rocky back in Creed 4. They need to make Creed 4 and include it all, bro. Because honestly, Creed's tapped, bro. Like, by Creed 3, you're old and washed, and you need to do like a Rocky, like, 6 type plot. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The Rock's Black Adam. Black Adam is here. Black Adam. Bane has an asthma attack mid-aura speech. Does the plane just fall apart? I think he just gets like sucked out of the plane. Like his body just goes limp and he just like ragdolls out of the plane with a startling amount of force. That would be my prediction. What if the guy, the CIA agent, did take his mask off and he just can't breathe and starts freaking out? Like the mask falls out of the plane and Bane like just has to swing just on whatever's close to him. The hierarchy of power is about to change. Well, fellers, is anyone up to closing us out on an epic dono? Thoughts on the Thing? That's a good question. I'm gonna have to digest that. With all that said, however, thank you all for donating. Thank you so much for the 60 straight to the Cash App. Thank you so much for the donos from T-Cause, Michael Brent, Seeing Red, thank you so much, and Ziggy Bear, as well as Sickle, and Mobius, Can't Ignore Mobius. You just can't ignore them. I appreciate all you guys for watching, all the channel members, and anybody who just watched. So if you haven't seen my latest video, check that out. It's a good one. I'm always cooking up something new. Probably stream again in a couple of nights. And as always, I will see you all next time.